Spread the fire. Welcome back to SMWX, and I'm delighted today to be joined by South Africa's Public Protector, Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane. Advocate Mkhwebane, thank you so much for joining us on SMWX.
Yeah, welcome, and good afternoon or evening to your listeners as well.
Thank you so much. You explained in painstaking detail the context of this report, so I'm not going to go back over that. I want to get straight into your findings, how you came to them, and what the implications are, because I think they're quite serious.
Yeah. On receipt of a complaint from the leader of the opposition, Mr. Maimane, the complaint was lodged in terms of the Executive Members Ethics Act.
Right.
It's only members of parliament who can lodge that complaint.
Right.
And also against the executive. The executive meaning the president, the premier, the ministers, the MECs. So, and also the member of the EFF, the deputy president of the EFF, also lodged a complaint. So we received a complaint in November, the other one in January, November 2018, the other one in January 2019. So the complaint was about whether the president has misled Parliament.
Right.
Because at first he responded to a follow-up question by Mr. Maimane about the relationship his son has with the African Global Organization and former Bosasa. So he said, no, he spoke to his son at close range and discussing the matter, and the son assured him that everything is above board. But on our investigation then, in fact, before the complaint was lodged, the president corrected his reply and said, no, actually it's not, the money was not deposited into my son's account, but it was deposited into CR17 campaign. So we conducted the investigation. I've indicated how we conduct our investigation, what happened, what should have happened, the prescripts, and how then to balance the two or to remedy whatever has happened. So in this particular instance, then we've discovered that, when engaging the president was very cooperating in the investigation, I must say, and he indicated that he felt attacked by Mr. Maimane when he said his family might be involved in corruption or any conflict of interest. So we then determined 3 issues, because it was also the issue of the 500,000 which was donated and the alleged or suspicion of money laundering, because the money was moving from one account to another account before the final recipient. So our investigation then revealed that indeed the president misled Parliament, because he's a constitutional being and he should have made sure that if he was not sure about the information, especially because the question was relating to VBS, the one he prepared to respond to. Now the follow-up is relating to Bosasa and the son.
Right.
He should have requested to go back and prepare properly. And also not because he was saying he felt attacked. I mean, as a president, you should be displaying that level of, being a constitutional being and taking things with the, not with whims and just react on a spur of a moment.
Can I ask you on that, on the question of misleading? Because I'd also like to come to the 2 other questions. But in your briefing, you said that you had evidence in your possession, not only that he didn't prepare, but also that it seems as though he knew some of the runnings of the campaign. Can you take us through what the nature of that evidence is that brought you to those conclusions?
That relates then to the monies which were paid into these accounts, because the money from Bosasa was paid into EFG2. So now the EFG2 account was used to then transfer all the monies out to either Ria Tender trust account or to the this linked environment account. Now, the evidence we have before even requesting him to provide additional evidence, because he was saying he said, I don't want to know what's happening, and even the campaigns team was saying we were not going to disclose anything, but strangely he attended the dinners, he addressed the donors, so there are there's correspondence, email from the campaigns managers to him about the monies which needs to be transferred to the Cyril Ramaphosa Foundation.
So there's correspondence actually linking the money flow with the president, well, the deputy president at the times.
Now he was now a president.
Oh, by then.
Yes, some of the transactions happened after he was the president, because it started. Some started in 2016 December, others started January 2017. Well, to February 2018. In fact, I'm not sure whether he was now the president, but then the movement of monies happened between 2016 December and February 20, some of the accounts February 2019. But also there is information where they were saying to him, can you approach so and so, for donations and
So in terms of this question of the flow of money, which is another arm of your report and an aspect of your findings which relates to questions of money laundering, it seems as though you also have evidence in your possession, or could you tell us the kind of evidence that you have which demonstrates not simply that money reached the destination, but the way that it reached the destination happened in an improper manner? And in particular, you mentioned certain campaign donations that you were able to track, and I just wanted a bit more clarity on what that evidence looks like.
Well, it's deposits which were made into these 3 accounts, because you have this EFG2 account, then there's a trust which is opened, and then there's another company which is opened. So the money, some money moves from EFG2 to this trust account to this private company, but some monies will then move directly from EFG2 to this account. So the way the monies were moving and the deposits into the accounts. Hence, I'm saying that the evidence I'm having can be utilized by NPA and prosecutions to determine whether anyway there's any crime related elements which are there.
Then again, I think one of the interesting distinctions which you made, which perhaps hasn't been adequately reflected on, is this question of a conflict between private interests and public duty. And you made it quite clear in your report that that conflict doesn't actually have to materialize, but that the mere risk of that conflict constitutes an infraction. How did you come to the conclusion that there was sufficient, at least, risk in the conflicts between private advantage and public duty?
I mean, the president was the deputy president by then. And the Executive Members Ethics Act and the code is very clear. And Section 96 of the Constitution, that members of the executive should not expose themselves to a risk. Therefore, by agreeing that we should have this CR17 campaign, we will receive donations, we will tell donors, no, don't expect anything. You are exposing yourself to that risk, and to that conflict. Now, the conflict might have materialized in this instance because now you are also participating in also facilitating that money be transferred into the various accounts. So it's very clear, legally, that the Constitution says don't expose yourself. The code says refrain from exposing yourself. I think we've issued several. The test is very minimal. The test doesn't say prove the conflict. the test says the risk of a conflict. You know, so he should have made sure that he refused to be involved in the process, or even his name be used for campaigning.
Is there any possibility in your mind that the current president simply didn't know, or that these things happened under his watch, but he was not in a position to really know what was happening?
You know, before the investigation, I was thinking like that. But now the report and the investigation and the evidence I'm having shows that he knew. He was a part of the process of sourcing money and also requesting that monies be transferred from one account to another.
Thanks for watching the content. Like, share and subscribe on all platforms. smwx.co.za to join the WhatsApp channel. And let's build a new conversation for a new generation. I hear you.